Hello, everyone. Welcome to Phases Life Vibes. I am your host, Valette Sunshine, and I'm so excited to have you all here with us tonight. I am doing an interview with a young lady who has had some struggles in her life, but also had the family to support her. But when we're teenagers, we kind of push back on our parents' rules. We think we're grown and we want to make our own decisions, but then we fall and we bump our heads. And so Miss Kayla's going to tell us all about what she did in order to get back um, to doing what is right and to make a life for herself and make a pretty good decision in her life to go back to school and become an engineer. So you'll get to hear that story. But before we get there, on the other side, I want to talk about breast Cancer Awareness Month because October is Breast Cancer Awareness. And of course, I have my pink on for that. And I just want to shout out a couple of people that I know. I don't want to leave anyone out, but just that I know for sure. I want to shout out Miss Gigi Rogers, who is in the process of healing now and being cancer-free. So shout out to Gigi Rogers, Miss Gigi Rogers. We love you so much. I also want to shout out to my friend, my sister, Miss Delary Johnson. Delary B is also a cancer survivor, and I just tip my hat to her. She's a strong lady. She knows the Lord just as Miss Gigi Rogers does, and that's who carries us through the tough times. So shout out to Delary Johnson, who is a cancer survivor and hanging in there. Miss Donna. Donna is a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, who is also a cancer survivor, and she is doing well. She's hanging in there. I think it's been about 10 years now. And so God is just amazing. And so what I want to say is, ladies, be aware of breast cancer. Be aware of what goes on with your body. Know the signs. Do your breast exams. Do your yearly checks. See your doctor, because it's better to know than not to know so they can catch it. Breast cancer, you can survive if they catch it and detect it early. So I know it's a scary thing, but we've got to get it done so that we can survive. And I want to say rest in peace to all of those who have lost a lot in their lives because of breast cancer. God has a plan for us all. But thank you, God, for the fight that you leave in, that you give us, and the strength that comes only from you. So Donna, Delary, Miss Gigi, and everyone that is fighting breast cancer, that has fought the good fight and has been called home with the Lord, and those that fought the good fight and are still standing. We're going to beat cancer. We're going to beat it away till it's no longer existing. So, you guys, let's remember breast cancer awareness and those that live with the disease. Now, not just women. It's not just women and girls. It's also men. There's that 1% that men can get breast cancer. Beyonce's father, Mr. Knowles, Matthew Knowles, is a breast cancer survivor. He had breast cancer, I think, back in July. Found out, was diagnosed in July. He is now cancer-free. So you guys, we got to go to our doctor's visits. Make sure you're seeing your doctor, no matter how scary it is. And it's not just if it goes that you'll get, is it possible that you get breast cancer just because it ran in your family. Some people with breast cancer, no one in their family has had it. So we got to be checked. Thank God for the doctors that can help us through these things and that have the skills and the abilities and the machines and the medicines to help us through it. So we gotta make sure that we're getting our annual checkups. If you need them more than annually, check them. If you know how to check your own self periodically within that year up until the next doctor's appointment, do so. But we gotta get checked. So I tip my hat to all of those that have fought the good fight. I also met a lady in the airport who was going back home from getting her treatment in Houston, and her and her mother had breast cancer together. Well, her mother just finished her last treatment, and she has beat cancer. And then now she's going to have her last treatment in December. She's a young mother, she's a wife, she's a daughter, and she's strong. And she gave me like inspiration. So again, if you know anyone that is suffering from breast cancer, say your prayers for them. Be an encouragement to them. Be a support to them. So again, we celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're just going to be optimistic about it. We're going to stay optimistic about a cure for breast cancer and ugly cancer, period, wherever the cancer is. So again, you guys, on the other side, Miss Kayla, if a
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Phases Life Vibes. Thank you for being here. And if you're new, please subscribe, like, and share. And please leave your comments below because your opinions matter. And we like to see what your thoughts and opinions are. We are here with Miss Kayla. Kayla, please say your last name. I struggle.
No, it's okay. Kayla Ifakoya.
Ifakoya.
Yes.
Ifakoya. I'm not going to forget that, okay?
It's easier than it sounds, or looks, sorry.
Right. Yes. I think that's what gets me scared is how it's spelled. But anyway, Miss Kayla is here with us tonight.
Yes.
I'm just going to tell you guys, I was getting ready for church. And I was watching the news as I was getting ready, and Kayla came on the news and her story, and she was telling just a little bit of her story. You know, this news can't tell it all, but it caught my attention. And it's crazy because I had just spoken with her mother like 2 days ago, didn't even realize the connection. So I just believe God does things on purpose, and he has a reason for what he does, and he has a reason for crossing the path. And so anyway, I reached out to Kayla. I wasn't sure if she would return my message, but she did. And I was in church. I told her I would get with her. So anyway, I just wanted to let everyone know out there how we met. So really, we're just formally meeting today. So Kayla, nice to meet you and see you.
Yes, of course. Same for you as well.
Thank you. So you guys, it's not easy telling your story, but we all have a story. And you know, it takes courage to come out and speak about your story. But what it does when you tell your story is it helps for other people to heal, and it gives other people the courage to come and tell their story. Phases is a place where we invite people just like yourself, Kayla, to come and tell their story, not to be judged. We pray for you. We support you in all that you do, and we wish you success. So let's get started with the interview. Okay. What I know from maybe listening to the news a little bit, and I got a little bit from you before we started, is that you were born to a teen mom. And the thing about it is, you're not the first, you won't be the last, but you are speaking out, and that's important. So let's talk about that.
So, of course, yes, I did grow up. Crystal Ifakoya is my mother, amazing mother. She, of course, started off as a teen mother, which was a little bit of a rocky spot for her, especially having 2 kids before she was 18. However, she decided that she wanted more for us as her kids and herself as a mother. So she decided to reach out for help, which was through the Madonna House, which is I believe it's a young mother shelter, you know, to help them get back on their feet, all of those things. And it started from there. It started from her asking for help, and she started to process her life. And as that happened, we got older, and just with having a young mom, and she's working hard and going to college, you know, she wasn't as much. She wasn't trying to, how do you say that? She wasn't trying to stay in the odds that was given to her, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely, right.
She was trying to outbeat those. She was trying to have more for us as her child, which at this time she had 3 kids when she started to like actually get a process of life and how it goes. So, you know, I to have all of that, you would think that as a young adult, you would want to stay with your mom and ensure that, you know, you're bettering yourself. However, I decided to take a little bit of a different path. Mm-hmm. I had a little bit of a closer relationship with my grandmother, which is my mother's mother, who was just amazing as my mom was. Now on the news, if you did watch the video, it just kind of stated like at that time, you know, Kayla did decide to go ahead and move with her grandmother, and that was almost like an off and on thing. It was in between my mom's and my grandmother's house.
Right.
Just kind of keep myself active and busy as a child so that I wouldn't begin to follow those odds that was given to my mother. And which kind of leads me to where my grandma passed away, and that kind of got me up to the age of 17. I was in school. I graduated from Union High School, and it was just, at that time, it was a tough time for me. And I was just, you know, stepping my first foot into adulthood, and I was just like, you know, I think I want to try this life on my own. And
Wow.
that's when, you know, things did actually get hard, and things did show that, okay, maybe I do need that help that, you know, outside of parents, guardians, whatever.
Parental guardianship, yeah.
Exactly.
So before you go there, so you've graduated. So now you graduated, right?
Yes.
And you're out and you want to step on your own. But I want to back up just a little bit.
Of course.
I want to, and I know this is about you, but I want to also, you know, kind of bring your mom into this, because I tip my hat to her for reaching out for help. Some people won't even ask for help and need it.
No.
Some people's ego will stop them from getting the help that's available to them, and then horrible things happen, right? So I have to tip my hat to her as a single mom, saying, hey, I want a better life for myself and my children. How do I do it? I've got to go get some help. So I tip my hat to her for asking for help, because some people just won't. So now she's gotten you got through school. You graduated. You were back and forth between your grandmother's house and your mom's house. But you said, you know what, Kayla, let's try this on our own. So what happened after graduation? Let me ask you this. Did your grandmother pass before or after graduation?
So my grandmother actually passed away a semester, so the November before I graduated. So at that time, I was actually 17. So she graduated November 2015, and I graduated May 2016. So it was a little bit before I actually graduated. Yes. And like I said, she was kind of like my best friend. She was an amazing person. And with that, like, life just, it kind of guided me in ways that I wish would have guided me other ways. However, it did not. And so that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I don't mean to cut you off, and I'm sorry. I want you to get it out, but I have questions.
No, go ahead. Ask me.
So when you say it guided you the wrong way, life guided you the wrong way. We all do things that we're not happy about. Right. You know, we make choices, but we learn from them. What type of things did it guide you to that weren't right?
So, it guided me. Okay. So, like I said, adulthood is it's like either you can take this step out or you could kind of have baby steps. And I decided that, you know, hey, this isn't going to work for me. So I actually was working full time. Like right after I graduated, I decided to go ahead and start working full time, which also I met my previous boyfriend, which was the gentleman that I was with for almost 2 years before you realize that this relationship is going nowhere. Right. And throughout that process, and that's kind of what they missed on the news, was throughout that process, I didn't as a child keep that communication with my mother as if she was keeping it with me, if that makes any sense. Yes. Because I felt like, well, I'm an adult, I can do it this way, or I don't need, as a single mother, I felt like my mother's help, or at that time, my father was actually starting to step into the picture, and I just felt like I didn't need his help either, which after the relationship kind of ended, I fell into a down spiral, which is kind of what you guys got. I didn't want to move back into my mom's. I was like, I'm 19, you know, I don't want to live that life. I don't want to be under my parents' rules. Of course, no one does. Now I wish I was under her rules.
So I'm glad you said that, because for the teenagers that will watch this, how hard it is to say, they say, oh, I want to be grown. I can't wait till I get away from my mom. Let's talk about it.
Wait, and that's where my mess up came, is because I felt like I'm 18, I hit my mark, I'm an adult, when in all reality, adult to me is a mental state of mind, if that makes any sense at all. You can be an adult to an extent of, yes, your age does make you an adult, but mentally you're not ready for it to have your own bills and have the things that your parents usually provide that you don't normally think about. And that's what I wasn't thinking about when I did decide to, I want to go live with my boyfriend, which was the situation. I did decide to live with him and move completely out of my mom's house, which, like I said, she was, as a mother, she was fully supportive. You can't, she didn't want to force me or to make decisions for me, but she also wanted to make sure that, like, okay, you're going to take a step, I'm going to be here beside you, but you're going to have to learn your lesson with that step that you're taking.
Awesome, Mom.
Yes. So she was there the whole time, and that's what really confused me when the news anchor, however you said that I didn't have any family, because I felt like that was unfair to me and unfair to my family that was there, because I never not once stated that I didn't have any family.
Right.
I stated that I made my own decisions upon myself that led me to feel like I could have did this on my own, or I didn't want to be at this state that I'm in now, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And what got me to, because I was kind of skeptical once. I remember, if you remember, I said, is she your mom? And you was like, yeah. And then I said, y'all are okay, right? because when you looked at the news, it was like, first of all, I didn't realize it was your mom. The only connection I had was the last names, right? But I was like, is everything okay? And you was like, yes, amazing. So I was relieved from that, because of the news didn't portray that you had anybody, that it was like you were just alone.
Exactly. And it wasn't just their mistake. It was my mistake, which I should have stated, which I did. I stated, hey, my mom started out at 16 years old having kids. And then they kind of edited that out and was like, well, she started off in the shelter and then she moved here. And I'm like, well, I didn't. I started off with the shelter with my mom, who was trying to do best for us as kids, as her barriers that she's had. So I felt like I was unfair to me in my story, but as well as to the people that was actually there for me, with me, and guiding me, that was there throughout the struggle and like I said in the post that I made on Facebook, my adult decisions, because at the end of the day, my mom was there regardless, no matter what people thought of me, no matter what I put her through, as a mother, because no matter what anyone says, anything that your child does, or or it may not even be your child, or just someone that you're guardian or you're over, that's going to hurt you to see them go through anything, especially if you want to make sure that you're trying to prevent that from them going through that.
That's right. And like I said, we've all made mistakes and done some things. I've done some horrible things that I wasn't raised to do those things, right? And it embarrassed my parents, but they never stopped loving me the way that they love me now. There was no love lost. Now, there was lessons to learn, and there was tough love to give, because if you want to be grown and make these choices, I'm going to let you get out there and see how it is. And when you fall, I'll be here for you, but I gotta let you learn those lessons, right?
Yes, and that's kind of what I was explaining, how my mother was, because she didn't want to shelter me. She didn't want me to not see the world in my perspective. She wanted to be there for me no matter what decisions I made. Of course, it wasn't going to be no crash, dummy like things, because let me just be honest, my mama didn't play that. Right. Even though, she did want to learn my life lessons. She didn't want me to be, how would you say? She didn't want me to kind of just be blindfolded to how the real world is, if that kind of flows with what I
right. Because no one will treat you like your mom treats you.
Exactly.
So,
her love is unconditional.
Your mother won't always be around, so we got to let our children go and bump their heads a bit. See what it is to be grown. You want it to be grown. You go see what it's like to be grown.
And I see it now.
Yeah. So now now you've moved out of the house with your boyfriend after 2 years. What happened then? Because you said you didn't want to go back to your mom's house. What happened?
So at that point, I felt like at that time, like I went straight like from high school to college. And within that year frame, I was in dorms, so I did have a place to stay. But then I decided, well, this isn't the career path that I want to go. This isn't the location that I want to be at. So I decided to come back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, which I was only in Okmulgee, OSUIT, so I wasn't that far at all.
Okay.
And it was just like, I didn't want to go back to my mom's house. Of course, I didn't want to go back to that relationship that I was in previously because of how toxic it was. And the family, because I don't have a lot of family that is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So the family that I did have in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I was too, I don't know how to say that, but I didn't want to ask for that help. I'm not a big person that asks for help unless I needed like a lot, if that kind of goes.
So really you were trying to be independent, not rely on anyone.
Exactly.
And make it on your own without having to have a handout.
Right. Yes, that is exactly kind of what the path and the mindset that I was thinking at that time, which then led me to just kind of hit a like a dead stop. Like, I just got out of a bad relationship. I just came back to Tulsa, changing careers. Now Tulsa Community College does not offer like dorming. They don't offer apartment discounts. So working full time, as much as people want to say, that is just not enough to pay the bills, especially in Tulsa. Making $9.50, it doesn't get you a full apartment, and that's when it just hit hard rock. I was in the middle of my semester. It was around December, going on January, closer to February, if that makes sense, where that transition kind of happened, because it was like in the middle of the semester. Christmas just passed. And I hit rock bottom, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to school. I've stayed in my car a couple times. I have stayed with my best friend. I have lived with other friends just to avoid going back and having to, how would I say this? At that time, I thought it was like, okay, well, then it's taken away from me being an adult. I still stay with my mom, and I'm still under her rules, and I gotta be in by this time. And at that time, of course, everyone, you kind of think like, this is inhumane. Like, this is something I don't want to do. Now I look back and I'm like, 11 o'clock curfew, I'll be in. I kind of took advantage of the qualities of life. Right. And also just respecting your parents' like rules. Like, they have rules set for a reason, especially if you have siblings that's under you. You don't want them, because they will, no matter what you say, you don't want them to follow into your footsteps. So at that time, like I said, I was just living with other people, and that's when I found YST, which is Youth Services of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They offer so many different type of resources, from mental health resources, of course, transitioning resources, which is what I was in, the transition living. They offer like parental, I don't know how to say that.
Parental.
Yes, for mothers, like single mothers, or even mothers and fathers. It was free healthcare. It was a bunch of stuff that at that time I felt like it would work for me. It was giving me my independence that I wanted, but I had to take that step back and ask for help, because I didn't feel like I wanted to ask for help for family or friends because I felt like I have already asked enough of them, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
So
you go to UST, and what is the criteria for you going? Because now at this point you're living from place to place.
right. And the criteria is really like at that time they got me in pretty fast. It was about like maybe 2 weeks that I kind of had to jump around and do all of that. But then within that time frame, as long as you're just unstable living, of course, single moms with babies, they always get first priority. And the guidelines is just really to be needing that transition from your child mentality into adult.
So helping you to transition the proper way.
Exactly, but it's not in a way where you're like, okay, you need to be in by this time, or you need to. It was not more of guidelines and rules. It was more of finding what works best for you.
Right. So I did see that the guy, I don't know if he was the director or whatever, he came on.
Yes.
And he said that you had to go to school or work or something like that. And so these are part of the criteria for going into this place, right?
Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I don't want to cut you off. So how many people are allowed in the place? Is it an apartment building? They get you an actual house or?
So this is what really got it for me. They literally give you an apartment based up on the occupancy. So it was just me. So I had a studio apartment. I would say it was about, if anybody knows math wise, it was about 400 feet. It was just big enough for me, my stuff. I had my own kitchen. I had my own bathroom. Like I literally had my own apartment, my own mailbox, my own laundry room key. They literally give you an own apartment. Another great thing is they don't put you. So the apartment complex is owned by YST. Some of them, depending on where you're located at. And they put you with regular civilians, regular people, as well as people that's in the program, so that you have that feeling of like that, okay, I am on my own. I am independent. They give you pretty much just, the steps that some people, like I had a little bit of it, but just like, okay, hey, where do you go if there's a tornado, or just the basic needs of whenever you actually move in on your own that some people just don't know about.
So how long are you allowed to stay in the facility?
Okay, don't get me wrong. So when I started the program, it was 12 months to 18 months. The current program is now 12 months, and they're trying to transition. You out by 18 months. Before your 18-month mark, if that makes any sense.
Got it. So do they get, like when you're working, do they have an account where you're putting money up so that whenever you're transitioning out, you'll have the money to get somewhere to live?
Yes. So one of the main guidelines because they are things that you have to do in order to stay in the program. You can't just get in the program and be like, oh, I got my own apartment, see you later, and won't see you for another 18 months. So the program consists of you get your own savings account. So you put in, I believe, 25% of each paycheck that you get, and all of that will come back to you at the end of the program. Now that account is still accessible to you, like in that trend, like whenever I was well within the program, I had a well amount saved up, and I had my car had broke down. I decided to go ahead and get another one, and they offered me the money that I had in my savings account to help me. Now, however, I did not use it because I did not want to take away from me once I got out of the program. Mm-hmm. There's also every week you have to go to it's about an hour and a half class, There's just life skills. They talk about just, like I said, things that people don't normally know, hygienes, STDs,
That's good.
car insurance. Like, it tells you the stuff that, you think almost high school would tell you, but nah, it's like car insurance, how to keep up on your rent, how to budget your money. Like, they gave us budgeting sheets, and that worked out amazing because after leaving out of the program, I now know how to budget.
Right.
I know how to save money, which I still, like I said, I did not use my money that I took out of my savings account. I actually put into another savings account, just to keep collecting it now, because I have gotten used to it almost, because they gave me valuable information that I can now use in my real, like, actual life of paying rent and staying on my own. So there's definitely a couple things that you have to do while being in the program, but they do offer you your own apartment. Of course, they offer you, which is not something that you have to do, but counseling if you're going through anything. It's a very, very good program.
It sounds like it.
It's literally to teach you, the things that you either don't know or things you do know but you don't know much about.
Right. So I have a question for you. Sometimes young girls, young boys, you turning into young men and women, they think they want help, and they go and then they mess up. What is the criteria that would get you kicked out of the place?
Honestly, it's kind of hard, and I would say that very lightly, because it's on a case-based debate. When you're in a place of instability, they understand that you're not going to be perfect. They understand that you're not going to pay rent. Like, there's several people that I know that they the program is really to help you and not to judge you, to put you down, to kick you out.
Right.
If you don't put money in the savings account, like, I'm not going to say that it's not acceptable, but they're very understanding people. And of course, I would say it's not very easy to get kicked out. Like, it's the things that you would do that you're not supposed to do. So, just illegal things, I could say.
Yeah. So basically, just breaking the law, tearing up the apartment. Just not following the rules and the criteria.
Right. Just. And people always have some people always have ulterior motives, and they're very good at weaving those people out. Mm-hmm. So, I would say they would probably have maybe an 80% rate. Now, I did use the program to my advantage. I paid my rent. I went to the weekly meetings literally up until about a month. After the month that I was actually transitioning out, that wasn't really a requirement, just because you're getting ready to, change out. I went, I got the doctor's appointments that I needed. They helped me get glasses that I didn't have before. I used it to my advantage, if that makes any sense. Not to take advantage, but I used it to my advantage for the things that I know I needed, the information that I didn't have, and things like that.
Right. When we go back and we talk about the maturity, the mindset of being grown, your age says, yes, you're grown, but your mindset is not grown. What I'm finding, or what I'm hearing, is that that place is set to teach you how to live as an adult, to take you through the steps, whether it's baby steps or whatever, but take you through all those steps: how to make a doctor's appointment, how to get to the doctor, how to pay your rent, how to save money. It's so important, because our culture, we don't talk a lot about, having in the past, our parents growing up didn't teach us, you need to save this money for your future. And that's because we didn't come from wealth. A lot of us didn't come from wealth.
Yes,
So
exactly.
we're living paycheck to paycheck. So we weren't taught to save money. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's a godsend for that program for young ladies and young men, especially those of us that come from single parent homes where we're living paycheck to paycheck, where there are kids that just can't live with their parents, don't want to do what the parents say, but they really want to do right. They just want to do it on their own. So
Exactly.
I think that it's a good place. So now I'm hearing that you are going to college or getting ready to graduate college as an engineer.
Yes. So
Let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about it. So that is exciting to me. I kind of want to just go back just a little bit.
Let's go back.
And to kind of show how I got into engineering. So I've been very book smart. So I've always been into books. I've always been into my education is very important to me.
Right.
And however, I just didn't know how book smart I was or how much education did mean to me until my mom was like, I think you'll be a great engineer. You're good at math. You're very precise. You're straight A student. You can do it. I'm straight A and B. I'm not a straight A, but A and B student.
Hey, that's still good. Congratulations.
Yes. So she actually decided to push me into going into Tulsa Tech for engineering. And I told her, I was like, Mom, I'm not gonna like this. This is not for me. This isn't for me. And she's like, well, just try it. You know, what's the worst that could happen? You don't like it or you do like it. So that was my senior year.
You have a great mother.
And at the end of the year, I loved it. So I was like, well, I think I like it enough. I think I can make a career out of this. So that is when I decided that I want to do a career in engineering.
Wow. That's big.
Yes, it is. I love to build. I love being hands-on. So I felt like engineering would only be the best path for me compared to any of the other fields. Like a doctor, I'm not very into medical field items.
We know what we're good at. So I mean, I'm excited for you. Okay. Yes. So now you're in and you're getting used to, you know, the work in class, but you're finding that you really love what you're doing.
Love it. Yes. And so at that point, I was like, well, I'm going to go to college for this. And that's when I decided to go to college for civil engineering. And at the early of this video, like I said, I decided to change my career because I didn't want to do civil engineering. Like civil engineering is building roads and bridges, not 3D. And I had a misunderstanding about that.
Right.
I like to build structures, buildings, 3D. And that's when my transition back to Tulsa, Oklahoma came, and I decided to go ahead and make my tuition a little bit cheaper, go to Tulsa Community College, help myself out in the end. So when I went and decided I just want to do a basic engineering. So I did I decided to go working towards my associates in engineering. And that took about a year and a half, which leads me to now. And I have one more semester, which would pretty much put me at the 2 years in TCC. And I have my associates in engineering.
Yay! Congratulations.
However, exactly.
There's a however.
Yes, I did not want to stop there. I didn't want to kind of end my semester off in the middle of the semester. So I was informed by my advisor, if I just take 3 more classes next semester, I can actually go ahead and graduate TCC with 2 degrees. And that's going to be a degree in my basic engineering, so engineering and technology and science. And then I'll have a mechanical engineering degree as well. Wow. So I'll graduate from TCC with 2 degrees. And I haven't like made a decision on which one I'm going to use most or least. I mean, they're probably going to both play in together amazingly. However, I just know like I don't want to stop here. Like I want to go. I want to get my master's. I want to push myself to get possibly a PhD. However, that's just
keep going.
That's a little up there, but if I beat my mind to it, I can definitely do it.
That's right. You can, you know, with God, all things are
Yes,
possible.
of
So
course, by your
we have
side.
to
Yes.
keep God in the forefront. So, but
Yes.
I just want to say congratulations to you that you are an inspiration to young women. And I hope that,
Yes.
you continue to tell your story, because there are girls out there right now, they're lost. They don't know what they want to do. If they just need to hear maybe your story and get to
Yes.
YST and let them help them, right?
Exactly, because that's what this is about. Yes.
But I like the fact that you said, but I'm not going to stop here. Like, I'm a motivational speaker, so I have to say
Yes.
this. We shouldn't put a cap on our success. When I
Yes.
get my mechanical degree, I'm going to stop here. No, there's no limit to what you can do. So I would say reach for the stars and keep going. Long as you keep your head on straight, you walk with God, you can do anything you want to do. You're living
Yes.
proof of that.
Exactly.
We do know that this interview is going to go out to the world, around the world. What would you say to young girls that are in a pickle? They just don't know, even if they're at home with their mother, their father, and they just don't know what direction to do, what to take, and they really are just unstable. They're getting ready to graduate, or they graduated and want to get out of the house. What do you want to leave with young women, young girls?
Honestly, just don't rush. Like, life is going to continue to go. However, make sure that education is one of your first priorities. It may not have to be, even if it's not your first, just let it be one of your priorities, because as of 2019 going on to 2020, a lot of people are looking for people with degrees. A lot of people are looking for people that came from a tough situation, or they came from not the best, but has made life better than what it could have been. And don't stop even if you feel a little bit of discouraged, don't stop. Like, there's so much help out there. There's so many people that are willing to help you. If you don't know about my mom's nonprofit organization, that's out there. WOW is out there to help women, just like there's millions of other nonprofit organizations such as YST. I know there's other ones that I follow on Facebook that are local as well as international, out of state, wherever you're coming from. There's always help. And sometimes it takes you just to open up your mouth and ask for it, literally. Yeah. Even if you don't ask the right person, it's all about networking. And if you can find out one person to get you to where you need to be, that'll change. That's gonna be life changing. How I found YST, and that was life changing for me. And it brung, when I say it brung a bunch of opportunities. Like, I have had a bunch of opportunities come to me just for me asking and saying, hey, I need help, or I don't know this, or, I did make a mistake and I did want to step out on a ledge on adulthood, and I bumped my head. It's okay to bump your head,
hey,
but don't fall and then not get back up. You must get back up, and you must keep pushing, no matter who you are or where you come from. If you come from the highs or the lows, you are your own person, and you can be whatever you want to be.
That's right. Aww. That was amazing. That was amazing. To add to that, you're right. Don't be afraid to fail. We're gonna all fail. But if we can pick ourselves up and learn something from that failure, that'll get us to the next level, you'll be okay. So thank you for being here and for interviewing with me, and for contacting me back. I hope that you can share this once it's all together, and you'll share it for other.
I will.
The whole mission is to help somebody else, to pay it forward. So if there's anybody listening, and you're a young girl or a young teenage girl, and you just don't know and can't find your way, there is help, but you gotta be willing to open your mouth and ask for the help. It's okay. Don't be embarrassed. It doesn't matter what you've done in your life. It does not matter, because what does matter is that God loves you, and people will support you, but they don't know if you don't ask.
Exactly. Agree.
Yeah. So, Kayla, thank you so much. And thank you
That's
to your
true.
mother, who was just an amazing mother,
Yes.
that she beat the odds, like you said, right?
Yes, she did.
And that everybody's well, doing well for themselves and living a life, and that you've overcome. You have overcome by the grace of God.
Definitely. And it was nice. Thank you for reaching out to me and wanting to interview and wanting other people just as of yourself, excuse me, to hear my story, because there's not a lot of people out there that do want to interview people about, coming from the bottom up to the top, So I'm thankful for you reaching out to me as well.
Absolutely. That's what Phases is about. That's what we're here for. We're here to empower people and to bring them up, fix them. We can do it, right? So
Yes.
thank you again so much for being here. Everybody, thank you for tuning in and watching the interview. If you know of someone that wants to tell their story, contact me. I can be reached, on YouTube at Phases Life Vibes. I can also be reached on Facebook, Sunshine Vallette. And I can also be reached on Instagram at Vallette Sunshine. So before we get out of here, Kayla, how can people reach you?
You can reach me on Facebook. That's all social media that I actually have, which is Kayla's, Kayla. Ifukoya, F is in Frank, Ekoya. I am not a shy person. I listen. If you just need someone to talk to, I am there. And hey, I can get you somewhere to where you need to be if you have any questions about anything that I said tonight.
That's it. And then one shout out for WOW. Can we see how we can reach you? Can you tell them how they can reach WOW or how they can get connected?
WOW, now I know that WOW has a Facebook page. It's capital WHOW Network, if I'm not mistaken. The organization owner is Crystal Ifukoya. If you cannot find the page, it is linked to her page, Crystal Ifukoya, which is Ifekoya, and Crystal is Crystal, as well as there's a website where they have monthly meetings. I believe that the subscription is only $12. You get a free t-shirt, you get free wine on the wine meetings that they have. So it is very, very, very important if you do decide that you want to know more about WOW to go out there and look for it.
Right, and if you can't find it, you can reach Kayla and she'll be glad to get you connected.
Yes.
So again, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you look at the video that I post, I will even attach the link in the comments for the website.
And then the link will also be, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
And also the link to WOW will be at the bottom of this interview. So I'll put the link in this interview as well.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, Miss Kayla, you keep your head up. I'm going to be following you and checking in and making sure all is well. Know that I'm here for you if you ever need me. And you guys, in the meantime, say your prayers, treat everyone kind, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Yes, see you later. Bye-bye.